Hello and welcome back, all my Dragon Ball theorists. Goku, should you achieve Ultra Instinct at your current strength, it will be far more stable than ever before. You will not fall to Moro, nor to anyone else for that matter. Ka-Kakkarot! It's okay, Goku. Vegeta is there. Have a Senzu bean and restore yourself to full. Prepare for battle the proper way. Power up and take your enemy head on. There! That's right, this cowardly sniper probably is hiding for a reason. Never mind, he's behind you. Was that instant teleportation? No, it's even faster than that. How can someone have an ability that is faster? No matter, this time I'm going at you with Super Saiyan God. He likely won't be able to keep up with it. Damn, he's fast. I can't find an opening and he's not backing down. In that case, I will combine Ultra Instinct with Super Saiyan God. I now will easily be able to avoid any assault this villain has to throw at me. Don't worry, Maris. Don't worry, Whis. My training has taken me to a whole new level. There's no way I'll lose to anyone. I'm even stronger than when I fought Moro. Now let me end this. Oh, do you think an energy blast from that distance will be able to hit me, do you? Well, I can't believe this. What is happening? Literally. No worries, it was just a tap. You almost got me there, I slipped up, but now, what happened? What type of power is this? Your reaction time is incredibly fast. I can tell that your body moves on its own before your brain even processes incoming attacks. You noticed, huh? However, even a flawless fighter cannot hide his vital points. Yes, Goku, you were lied to. The writers gave you and its fans false hopes for you being invincible. But the story must go on, and for that reason, you got clapped 2 times. I have to joke a little bit, even though it's easy for us die-hard fans to be upset by this. I get what you're feeling, and we arrived here for a few distinct reasons. The first reason is the build-up to a new power always tends to be well overdone by the writers. I do feel like they do this because they lost touch with the fanbase and how to write a finely polished story arc like we had in Dragon Ball Z. I'm not throwing shade, but let's look at the facts which causes the biggest divide in the Dragon Ball community, which is power scaling. For me and many fans, the story doesn't work if power scaling doesn't work. That is just basic logic in a show that is centered around In the early story arcs of Dragon Ball Z, the fans knew exactly where everyone stood in their character progression, as there was a scouter for that. This piece of equipment literally told us how the upcoming battle was going to play out.
Vegeta, what did you say his power level is? It's over 9,000!
We knew that Goku was about to play games with Nappa, and he did. This straightforward, you have a 30,000 power level and you have a 20,000, made it as clear as day who would win. Then, how a transformation to 8 was a 10 times multiplier, or Super Saiyan was 50, etc. The math, which is important, checks out. Everything is just fine in the Dragon Ball universe. Then things got nutty and Frieza broke the mold with his first transformation having 1 million power level. The power scaling numbers that go with these transformations just stopped working. The numbers are so huge that the writers stopped using them, even though us fans carried on the tradition in countless threads and power scaling videos. How strong a character is, well, it's the core of knowing that character. This tradition won't die because fans love knowing how strong a character is, whether it is in the comics, anime, or manga. It's a fan obsession that Toriyama doesn't care about. The very system he created that drew us in would be the one that was abandoned because the numbers became meaningless. As a gamer, for all my gamers out there, this is known as stat bloat. In World of Warcraft, Blizzard answered this problem by stat squishing everyone's power down each expansion, so that way the numbers make sense. That way you can't become infinitely strong due to power progression. Toriyama doesn't have that luxury, but it also isn't a problem he really cares about. If you think Toriyama is sitting around drawing up Ultra Instinct power levels so it makes sense, you would be wrong. If you think he cares that there should be no way Kale can walk through a Super Saiyan Blue energy blast from Goku, he doesn't. When we are trying to make sense of how Krillin sparring with Goku in his blue form happened, when in reality Goku using 1% of his power would melt his skin off, Toriyama is just laughing because he just wants to tell a story. He doesn't care that 1% of Goku's power can blow up the solar system. He wants to tell a story. Which makes it hard for us fans when power scaling doesn't make sense because it throws all logic out the window. So now the writers, I mean Toyotaro and Toriyama, have to oversell these new powers as being the end-all be-all technique or transformation, since the power progression that made sense was thrown out the window long ago. This is a problem. So fans take statements from Beerus at face value. They literally think no one will be able to beat Goku, or that Ultra Instinct means you can't ever be hit because of what we said. However, that couldn't be further from the truth. I did a quick video on UI explaining why Goku can still be hit by fighters if they don't have UI. Also, my deep dive into Ultra Instinct is coming up, and while I enjoy having endless video topics to cover for you guys, the writers made this really confusing. So people's feelings get hurt when expectations don't meet up with reality. They expect something to look like this, but in reality, get this. I do think Ultra Instinct was an attempt for Toriyama to tell a story that isn't just about power. He placed an emphasis on techniques, and that is important. However, you could ask 100 fans what is Ultra Instinct and get all different answers, so it missed the mark for the story progression. Ultra Instinct isn't the end-all be-all power in Dragon Ball. We're going to see that time and time again. Doesn't matter if Goku has perfected UI or not. There are so many other ways to tell a story, and that is what is going to happen, and did happen, in DBS Manga Chapter 72. I personally love this chapter because I felt Dragon Ball has always lacked depth in terms of character powers, that their abilities weren't unique enough for a very long time. The next level was just a change of that character's hair or aura. So Ultra Instinct is just the first step into this bold new world, that there are other techniques of the gods, there are other techniques of different races, there are special abilities that Granola has, allowing you to see every flaw in a fighter. Heck, with Moro we finally had an enemy that removed power levels from the fight because of his magic. We needed spirit fission to separate his energy. I do think the writers should care more about power scaling because they need to for the story to make sense. Then we wouldn't have run into any of these problems where we don't know where a character stands in terms of power, so they have to oversell something to the fans to hype them up, when in the very next arc, what was overhyped previously will be beaten by something else. All I can do is make videos like this and explain my thoughts on the story and the writer's perspective. For me, it means as a fan to not take these statements as fact. They are merely a suggestion. There's always someone stronger out there, which is why we keep watching. What type of villain will Goku and Vegeta have to fight next? This chapter was the best chapter I read in a long time. I reserve caution though because I don't want to get disappointed and stop reading the manga again because they got lost in the story. I do have optimism though that the writers are adding in a lot more depth and uniqueness to each character. We have Goku and Vegeta on very different paths now, which is so much more interesting. Now we have an opponent that has what seems to be all the most deadly techniques in the universe. He is like the legendary assassin Hit, but stronger. He has destruction and instant teleportation. His all-seeing eye can find any flaw. This leads to so many more options in terms of storytelling than a power level in a scouter. So hopefully the writers nail it and the fans love it. With that said, I've been thinking a lot about the story lately with a few video ideas I've been working on. Wanted to dive into this because it was an elephant in the room that needs to be talked about. I see it in the comments all the time, but we said, or Beerus said, or I know what they said, but take that with a grain of salt. Anyways, what are your thoughts of Granola now that he beat Goku twice in one chapter? Will Goku find a way to finally defeat him, or will he fall for a third time? As always, I love to hear your thoughts and theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to share it and smash that like button. Also, please subscribe to support the channel and turn on that notification bell to keep those theories coming.